Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jesse, and in this video series we'll be building ourselves a nice HTML5 video player from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now as you can see from my desktop, I've already went ahead and created some icons for us to use during this project, including some PNG buttons and a thumbnail for our video. Now I'll make sure to put all of these image files up for download at www.cocotuts.com, and I recommend you go ahead and download them because, well, we'll be using these icons in order to build our player. And of course, if you have icons of your own, you can use those instead if you want to. Now I also got these two sample videos on my desktop, and these are the videos that I will be using to actually embed into the web page. Now you can use any MP4 video you like. You don't need to download these in order to follow along. However, if you do decide to download these from Cocotuts, I gotta warn you, these are probably the lowest quality videos that you've ever seen, but they're just for the sake of demonstration. By the time our player is finished, it should be able to handle any Super HD video that you got in your computer. So either download these or use some MP4 videos of your own. Now as for the course outline, in the first videos we're going to build the actual player using HTML and style it using CSS. In the later videos we will add in all the functionalities using JavaScript. And in this first video I'd just like to get started by embedding one of these sample videos into a web page. And to do that I'm going to create a new folder in which I'm going to put all these files. Excuse me. I will call it video player, and I'll move all these files inside. And in here I'm also going to create a folder called images. This is going to contain all the images for our video player. And let's also create an HTML file which is going to contain our video player. I will just call it player.html. And I will use my text editor, which is Sublime Text 3, in order to edit that HTML file. Okay, great. Now let's get started by specifying the doc type on this HTML document. Doc type HTML. Let's open up our HTML tags. Now inside our HTML tags, we're going to have a head tag and a body tag. And inside the body tag, let's use one of the latest HTML5 tags, the video tag. Now this is the tag that we'll be using to embed our video. You gotta close it as well, and the most important attribute is the source attribute, and this is going to link to wherever your video file is located relative to this HTML file. Now if we take a look at our folder, we see that the sample.mp4 file is in the same folder as this HTML file. So I can just reference this sample video as sample.mp4. Alright, let's save that. And if we now take a look at the browser, by opening up this HTML file, I will be using Google Chrome by the way for opening up our HTML files. Now in here we're going to see the first frame of our sample video, and this basically means that the video was successfully embedded. However, there aren't any controls. If we want to play the video, we gotta use the right click menu and hit play. Now if we do want some basic controls, there's also some other attribute that we can add to this video tag right here, and it's kind of a strange attribute because you don't give it a value. All you do is type controls, and if we save that and refresh the browser, we're going to see the set of basic controls. And the way this is implemented differs from browser to browser. For instance, if I open our player.html file with Firefox, we're going to see a different set of controls. And in my opinion, the Firefox controls look a little bit better. But I'm going to get rid of those controls because, well, we will be building these controls ourselves during the series. That's kind of what the series are about. Now, if we don't really like this first frame for the video and we want to display a thumbnail instead, we can easily do that by specifying the poster attribute on our video tag. I'll write poster, and then you gotta provide a reference to the thumbnail that you want to use for your video. Now it just so happens to be that inside that images folder there's a file called thumbnail.png. So let's reference that by images/thumbnail.png. And if we refresh the browser, now all we see is that thumbnail because the video hasn't started yet. We can still hit the right click button and hit play to start playing. Alright, now one final thing that I want to show you. Instead of specifying the source of the video within this source tag in the video tag, within this source attribute, inside the video tag, we can also make a source tag within the video tag. It's just called source and it has one attribute which is the same src attribute as for this video tag and just references that MP4 file. And if we now refresh the browser, we still see that it's working. However, this has a slight advantage. Suppose you have a website which has a promotional video on the front page. Well, you might have different versions of your sample video. For instance, you might have a WebM version, an OGV version, and an MP4 version. Now, if a browser doesn't have the codecs installed to display WebM movies or OGV movies, the browser can still play the MP4 movie, because if you define multiple sources, the browser will first try with every source if it can actually play that particular format. And if it can't play it, it'll just try the next one. So this is kind of an extra safe way to make sure that all your clients are able to see your promotional video. But because we don't have a WebM version or an OGV version of our sample video, I'm going to get rid of these first two. And finally, for some of the older browsers, you can add some fallback content within this video tag. Something like, it seems your browser doesn't support the HTML5 video tag. Please update it. And if we refresh the browser one last time, we see that we do see that sample video because, well, Google Chrome does support the HTML5 video tag. Alright, so that's all that I wanted to show you in this video. In the next video, we'll be building the actual video player using HTML. So thank you for watching and I'll see you then.